Dan, it's
Hi.
been like 2 months.
Almost 2 months.
Almost 2 months. It's.
Well, since we recorded in the studio, I think
Mhm.
more than 2 months.
Yeah, because we recorded at Nexus, but that was like almost 2 months ago. And then
Yeah.
so then we went away for the holidays, went our separate ways, and I feel like I've barely seen you in 2 months.
You have. I see you all the time because of the cameras I have in your house.
Right, naturally.
But I
So-
found all your cameras and disposed of them.
I should talk about what I'm signing because it's something new this time.
It is. It's 2 new things.
It's 2 new things. I am signing. So I did a free story for Wizards of the Coast. Do you know about this?
I did hear about this.
So they came to me and they wanted me to write a story. And I knew there was no way they would be able to pay what it costs to have me paid to write a story.
Yeah.
Right? Like I didn't even go there because I bet they were planning to be like really generous by their terms. Not understanding. Not understanding.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what? I will write a story, but I want it to just be the story that I want to write. And I want to, use your resources, but I want no oversight on where I said it, who I tell it about. I do want your continuity help and things, but I want to be complete master of this story. And they're like, oh, for free? Yes, sir. Thank you. And so I wrote the story because I had it in my system. And there is some mild controversy about it online, not huge controversy, on my opinion, in that I wanted it released for free. They did release it for free, but then they eventually took it down, and now it's really hard to get. And fans are like, Brandon wanted this for free, and he promised that there would someday be a charity edition we could buy. Well, this is the charity edition.
Hooray.
This is being done by Subterranean Press. There's only 1,500 of these being done, but the plan is, I think, for Wizards, I told them once you did a charity edition, you can release it for pay if you want. Just give my portion to charity. And so I think they might do like an edition with Random House or something that's like a non-special edition. So yeah, I am now signing the 1,500 copies of this that my portion of which will go to charity. And
That's
then
super cool.
People can actually have it. So
Yeah.
there we are.
There is no controversy online about my story
Yes.
because mine was never released.
Your non-existent story that I have read and is quite good. We've talked about it.
We should get them to publish them together.
That's the thing. We really should. We talked about this maybe. A little double of like your story is still in canon, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. They just didn't release it because they got gun shy about some of their earlier releases getting pushback that they didn't expect, and they just kind of pulled the whole, we freeze all publishing for a little while. And by the time they had frozen it, the time for your story was
moment
passed.
had passed.
Yeah. So yeah, they totally should do that.
Yeah. Now you're also signing Magic cards.
Yes, because we also for charity, I played Magic at the convention, and here is Oliver. He's pulling. You can grab those now. He's my change the pages minion today, and I play Magic for charity there. You come beat me, the internet donates money, and then the people playing against me get advantages to defeat me. I did win one game this time. Yep.
Nice.
So I think it's the first game I've ever won at any of these. And it was a win with Storm in yeah. You don't know Magic well enough to know how cool it is to win with Storm.
With Storm.
It's a core set.
Okay.
Against 3 opponents who I killed at the same time. It was really cool.
Was this all drafting or yeah? Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, but regardless, we promised everybody who donated that I would send them a signed card as a thank you. So, they got a card as well as being able to I should sign over the text on these, not the art, because the art is so pretty. they get a card as well as being able to watch me be crushed most of the time by the people I was playing against. And we ran out of cards, and so these are the same ones from the stack that I was signing there that I'm just signing some more of to go out to these lovely people who donated money. You also do a charity thing at the convention usually, right? Like
I do.
RPG.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do charity RPG. This year it was the Chasm Friends.
Yes, the Chasm Friends.
Which was fun. My favorite description of the game came from Shannon Hale, who has never role-played ever in her life, who couldn't hear most of the other players because the mics were weird, and who basically just didn't understand a single thing from beginning to end, but was a trooper and carried on and participated, and it was great.
Good old Shannon.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She is awesome.
I feel the need to interrupt here to say, if you want to go see those, both the charity event that Dan did and those stream that Brandon did, you can watch both of those on the YouTube channel as well. Those are still there.
We were going to talk about this next episode, but now that we're talking about games, maybe we should talk about games this episode.
There you go.
And catch up or things.
We're going to talk about catch up next week.
And wizards.
Okay.
The perfect wizard.
The perfect wizard. Because we did an episode that was supposed to be about designing the perfect wizard. And then we never got around to it.
We do need to get around to that sometime.
Yeah.
The next episode.
I
actually have a topic on here. We should talk. I was mentioning that for the first time in forever, I'm not really that excited for a new Magic release. And I don't think I'm the only one. And I've been trying to analyze why, because they have had a few sets lately that have really knocked it out of the park. That I've really enjoyed. So why should I not be excited for the upcoming set? And it's interesting. They are doing this. They're doing a death race. So it's like
death race,
wacky races, whatever that was. You know,
that had old Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Hanna-Barbera cartoon as a concept. And this is one that fans have asked for a while. Actually.
Really?
Yeah, if you follow Mark Rosewater's blog, he keeps a list of like ideas for sets that that they can do, right? And they've tried to branch out more in the sets they do, which is cool, right? They are, is that water for me? Yeah, I actually have a bottle right here. And that's obviously too cold for Mr. Lukewarm here.
Do you want me to get you one, Dan?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
And so, like, they have this list. They've done some things on the list. I thought that their Redwall-inspired set was just really cool.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was one of the ones that I got way into.
Yeah.
And bought, I think, 2 boxes of it.
And I was very skeptical of their giant slasher haunted house one. But the gameplay was excellent. My worry for this Death Race one, looking at it, is that it's like they've started this thing where one of the things I loved about Magic is they would go to a new plane and you'd explore this new plane and all of its like local wackiness. And this is the strength of Magic storytelling. I don't think their actual story can ever be as strong through the cards as their environmental storytelling. It's why storytelling in Elden Ring works the way it does. You can tell a really cool world through a bunch of art and occasional little snippets and watching, their characters who are from Offworld interact with it. Lately they've started to do this thing. They did this one with the Western set, which I really liked. The set, but everybody came to the set. There were all their other characters, and they just put on cowboy hats, and they started riding horses and became outlaws and just acted out like they were on the holodeck.
Interesting.
A Wild West story.
Okay.
And suddenly, like, it seems to really lose something when it's like, yes, go and interact with the locals, but it felt like the story was about all these off-worlders who came, and they just, like the big demon just became the bruiser in a heist band.
Yeah, I wondered about that because I had a card of him.
Yeah.
And I'm
he's
like, wait, that's Rakdos.
He's like a demigod. It doesn't make any sense at all for him to be part of a heist team. And now Death Race, they're all just getting on motorcycles and cars and joining in a giant race. It feels like Wacky Races where it feels like instead of going to a cool place and experiencing that world, they're play acting with their characters, and they all dress like I don't know,
biker gangs,
biker gang, and it something about it is not clicking with me in the way that I would like it to.
Interesting.
Chandra is basically Akira in this next set. Like, her art is unironically the very famous Akira slide.
The slide.
She's doing the slide.
She's doing the slide. And it's not just this set. Brandon is absolutely correct. Murders at Karlov Manor was holodeck Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, holodeck Sherlock Holmes. I think that's what bothered me about it. Is instead of like characters coming and participating in investigation, it feels like they're running a murder mystery game. They don't. It doesn't feel like it involves the environment of the local plane anymore. And this is part of a new type of set that they've started designing, and I'm sure they'll tweak over time. I'm assuming that I'm not the only one making these complaints, but it's very weird to just not be excited at all.
That is weird for you.
For me.
Well, I hope that it comes out and it's awesome.
Yeah, and that happened with the haunted house slasher one, where it came out and the gameplay was really cool and the aesthetic was really cool, and I'm like, you know what? I actually enjoyed this. So
okay.
But my topic is related more to video games. And this
video game topic.
But also gaming with these things. And it is the idea that as an adult...
Here, wait. Before you get into this,
I'm
going to give you a food heist.
Oh, yeah. We should food heist.
You want a food heist?
I want a food heist.
This one was sent to me like yesterday.
Okay.
And this was in Norway.
Okay.
Somebody stole... Do you remember the cheese one? The Great Cheese Heist?
Great Cheese Heist.
Where someone basically just ordered a bunch of cheese for a French company, and then this London company supplied it, and then they took off and never paid.
Okay.
That happened in Norway, but with sandwiches.
Okay.
Somebody stole 50,000 kroner, which is about $4,000.
Okay.
Of sandwiches.
Do you know the song "Savages, Barely Even Human"?
Is that from Pocahontas?
From Pocahontas.
Yeah.
Well, Becky, who's sometimes assistant, sometimes they'll see her. You should ask her about the song "Sandwiches, Barely Even Human," because she, as a little girl, apparently didn't know the word savages, but she knew the word sandwiches, and she thought she knew what they were singing about.
Okay. That's awesome.
So, you guys, if you see Becky at the con, you can sing sandwiches to her.
That sounds fun. I'm going to ask her to do that when there are cameras around. This was 250 sandwiches of the best quality.
Best quality sandwiches.
It says. And, this being Norway, the sandwiches are like an open-faced pile of shrimp and things like that. And one of my favorite quotes in here that I'm assuming is like a Norwegian idiom.
Okay.
They said the company operated, the company they sold the sandwiches to that never paid and just disappeared, that it operated with, quote, brush and wash.
Oh.
Which I assume is Google Translate giving me some Norwegian
some
idiom for vaporware that they disappeared without paying. But there was another quote in here that I thought was delightful.
So 250. Not a big heist here. These might have just been some really hungry folks rather than, we're going to take these and resell them or something like that.
Yeah. The chef said, or one of the chefs said, it's boring to be deceived. He couldn't even muster anger at being robbed of all these sandwiches. He was bored.
Yeah, 250 is not really that exciting, a heist of sandwiches. But, you got to give him credit. That it's not easy to walk away with 250 sandwiches.
It's not.
So they did have to do some effort there.
They some effort went into this, and we are delighted to have heard about it.
The sandwich swappers, the sand switchers.
Yeah, and it says an observant employee also saw boxes from another catering company in the truck that picked them up.
Okay.
So they've apparently done this to more than one sandwich company.
Spreading out. So that's more impressive. More impressive. And
maybe this group is just the sandwiches.
That was a little obvious.
That too obvious?
I tried not to go there
The
because
sandwich witches.
yeah. I've read too many kids' books, picture books, where it's like the witch has a sandwich, and things like that.
How do you survive in the desert? You eat all the sandwiches there.
That's not even a bad pun because it doesn't make any sense.
Sandwich.
Oh,
is
whiz
there.
there. Okay, that one does work. Okay,
Yeah.
sandwich is there. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I'm on board with that one, I suppose.
Yeah, it's still not good.
No,
But
it's at least viable.
mm-hmm.
I just had in my head witch too much from the non sequitur away from a Halloween book of a witch with a sandwich. That's why I said sandwich swappers or sandwich switchers or sand switchers.
Ooh, the sandwich switchers.
Yes. But they didn't leave anything in return, so I don't think that
know.
actually works either. Yeah.
I suppose they left an empty truck. I think they did find the truck.
I found an end. But, well, I mean, wait a minute. Truck has got to be worth more than 250 sandwiches.
I know, and that's the thing about so many of these food heists is they end up finding the empty truck.
I guess maybe they stole the truck, but why not just take the truck that you've stolen? And
I don't know.
Why go for the $4,000 in sandwiches?
Maybe they showed up at the chop shop with the truck and were like, actually, this is a shop that sells pork chops.
Oh, no, they're like, to get this chopped up, you need to feed us. So they went to get the sandwiches to pay for the chop, but then, they got betrayed by other heisters who wanted the sandwiches, and then they just gave up.
Yeah, they couldn't pay for their truck to be stripped.
All right.
Oh, well, that's our food heist. Tell me about your video game thing.
My video game thing is, I feel like there is no place for guys our age in multiplayer gaming.
Okay.
Right? And there should be, because we don't have the time or the reaction speed anymore to go and play Fortnite with all the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Certainly true.
But what we do have is disposable income. Right? And so I thought, why is there not for these games, a subscription service that you can pay for like a free-to-play game? And the subscription service's only job is to pay for moderators to chat, to make chat not stupid, and to make it so everybody has a good time, right? Like, basically, you pay a subscription fee to a free-to-play game to get access to the adults-only room, where the adults-only room is a moderator saying you can't curse at people's moms and or make fun of people's game skill.
Yeah.
It's like I'm paying for no trash talking and no stress from my game that I'm playing in order to relieve myself of stress after a long day of work. Right?
I like this idea.
Shouldn't they have this?
It feels like buying the birthday room at like a pizza parlor.
Exactly.
Except for adults.
Yeah.
There's somebody there who's going to moderate the whole thing.
Yeah.
The adult version of making balloon animals is just making sure everyone is kind and casual.
Mm-hmm. Kind and casual enforced. I don't know. You like Overwatch. Have you swapped from Overwatch to any of the other new ones, the Overwatch clones?
My computer won't actually run Marvel Rivals. It crashes every time.
Okay.
And I haven't played Overwatch in forever. I'm all Helldivers these days.
All Helldivers. And that you play with a group of your own friends. And so you don't have
I don't have a group of my own friends to play it with.
Dan,
so I just play pugs with randos. Donald claims that he'll play with me.
I have said it several times.
Joel would probably play with you too.
Oh, does he play it?
He plays it. Though lately he and his friends have been doing Marvel Rivals instead. And you? Have you been doing Marvel Rivals? Yeah?
Yeah. Marvel Rivals is like Overwatch, except worse and more popular.
Yeah. I do think from reading online, not playing it, it's worse because they haven't balanced it yet.
Yeah.
And people all expect that they will eventually balance it. It is better because their monetization is less egregious. And it seems like they have some design choices that the people that like these games enjoy, so that once it's no longer horribly unbalanced, it will be.
Well, one of the problems for me with it, because I was able to play a little bit before my computer decided it didn't like it, is it doesn't pass the silhouette test.
Oh yeah, I've heard this.
Like Overwatch clearly went out of their way to make each character incredibly unique, whereas almost everyone in Marvel Rivals is just shaped like a person, and so
you can't tell who you're fighting.
At least for me, in my old man eyes, it becomes very visually muddy. But
yeah.
well.
So when you played Overwatch, or when you play these games, do you have to deal with like what percentage of idiots do you have to deal with in chat, just making the experience worse?
A fair number. Yeah. Helldivers hasn't been as bad, because I think chat is less common. Everyone's too busy trying not to die.
Okay.
But yeah, there's always groups. There's always little kids playing.
And it's not that little kids are bad at the game. That's not
no,
what
they're much better at it than I am.
But they make what's supposed to be a fun experience miserable in some ways. And I hear it's even worse if you happen to be a woman and they hear your voice be spoken over voice chat. And so I think that it's time for some accommodations to be made, and some offers to be made to those who just want to pay. And if it's like these are like 5-on-5 games. If everybody's paying a subscription fee, you can afford a moderator to be listening in. Or to come immediately when someone has a note to come listen in. That's just my thought on that. Have you ever played games with a little brother mode?
I don't think so. What's little brother mode?
So little brother mode is something like this that I love when games put it in. The most obvious example is Cappy in Super Mario Odyssey, in which one player can play Mario. And the mechanic for Super Mario Odyssey is he can throw his little hat, and his hat, whatever it hits, it you transform into that thing. But it also can like spin around. Ollie, tell me you played. It can like hit guys and stun them, and
you can, there are certain enemies that you can capture.
Yeah. But if you can't capture them, it can still like gather things for you or stun people or things.
A lot of them are small.
Yeah.
And if you throw your hat at them, then they just die.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so one player can, when you're just playing by yourself, you can throw Cappy yourself. But another player with another controller can take control of Cappy. And Cappy then can help out, and Cappy can't die. Cappy can't fall down a pit and cost you a life. Was a game that I played with my kids when they were younger called Guacamelee. Good old Guacamelee was a Day of the Dead Mexican-themed luchador superhero beat 'em up.
Oh, okay.
Right? Where it's kind of like Final Fight from the old days. You are a luchador who's going to save the city by going and beating up tons of enemies. And you can have your sidekick come and can just be a normal player, or you can put your sidekick on little brother mode. That means if the sidekick falls down a pit, the sidekick teleports to you and reappears. If the sidekick gets beaten by guys, the sidekick teleports to you and reappears. And if there's a difficult platforming challenge and the sidekick, you start doing it and they fail, they turn into a little ball of light and follow you until you get through the difficult platforming challenge and then appear next to you.
Okay.
And so they can fully beat up guys. They can fully participate, but they are immortal and incapable of.
That is super clever.
You can give it to your 4-year-old little kid and play a game with them, like you're playing, with your 10-year-old who can actually play the game. The 4-year-old wants to. Well, they can go punch some guys and things like this. And I love it when games make accommodations like this, right?
Yeah.
Like little brother mode is such a cool thing.
That's a
to
great
add.
idea.
Yeah.
I want that in Helldivers now.
Right. Yeah.
That would be great.
Right? Like, it's so cool that, like, even a game like Hades, which just has, you know what, turn on God mode if you want to turn on God mode. If you want to go experiment with things and whatnot, you know, you can't unlock during God mode, but have a blast. I think it's smart of games to do things like this. And that's accommodations not just for old people who are bored and annoyed of chat, but, you know.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of that with Balatro on Reddit.
Oh, yeah?
Where people will share seeds with each other.
Right.
And
yeah.
say, okay, here's this seed. And if you make these 2 or 3 choices right off the bat, you'll end up with these 3 incredibly powerful jokers, and you can do this hugely broken thing. And it's just fun to do it. You can't unlock something if you program a seed in, but
it's really fun to do. And beyond that, with Balatro, I can see this also as like I was talking about. It's like these can actually help you learn. Like there were some combos in Balatro that I'm like, why are these good? I do not understand why this combination is good. And I was good enough at the game that I could just wait until I got those and build that combo. But I can see getting really frustrated at the game and someone saying, just play the seed and you'll see how it plays out. And suddenly, you know, you can watch for that combo later in one of your other games where you're trying to unlock things. So games have this odd thing where your ability to enjoy them is gated more by physical ability and you know, even sort of mental acumen in some ways than any other form of entertainment.
yeah.
If you are bad at a video game, you cannot have the story of the video game, which is such a weird thing if you think about it, you know?
It is weird. There's a lot of RPGs that will have an easy mode, but that still requires you to, you know, engage with the mechanics and figure out how to play and stuff. It's not a pure little brother invincibility mode.
Well, and I mean, this is obviously a cool aspect of games, but it's something that I don't know that I've thought about as much as I should, just because it's interesting. Like my wife, I wanted to show her a Mario game that I was playing. I think it was on the 3DS.
Okay.
So it was one of the side-scrolling, just kind of classic Mario games, but remade with modern mechanics and things like that. And so I'm like, here, try this. Mario is like the example of what a platformer is. You'll understand what your kids like, and just try this, play a few levels before it gets too difficult. She couldn't get past the first hole in the ground. Not the first level.
The first pit.
Not the first enemy, because there was a pit before the first enemy. And Emily has never really played video games, so hitting a jump button, she kept trying to hit the button and then push over. She naturally, as a video game player, we move and hit the button when we hit there, so we spring over it, right? She would hit the button and then hit over. And every time that goes right into the hole, right?
Yeah.
Moving the thumb up from the move button to the jump button, or from the jump button to the move button, was just enough to send her in the hole. She lost 3 lives and said, I hate this. I hate the fact that I am so incompetent that I fall in the first hole. Never give me one of these again.
Yeah.
Which is such an odd place for art to exist in a realm where you can't experience the art if you have not made the weird transition in your brain between these buttons, meaning movement on a screen.
Yeah.
Give her a Wii or something, or VR, and she does it fine, because it's not the abstraction of buttons.
Yeah, it doesn't require the same type of skill.
So if I can interrupt, because I'm curious, because YouTube and other streaming platforms exist, for, let's say, take Emily for the example, if she really wanted to know how that Mario story goes, it only takes, Google search to be like, what happens to Mario, and watch a 10-minute playthrough of it.
Right, it does. And I think a lot of people, like, enjoy watching people for reasons like that. But I would say that the art of a video game is in part
does
the
include the
personal
gameplay.
performance.
Yes,
right?
I agree.
Yeah.
And that's just so interesting as a piece of art. That, like Mario, yes, we can tell you the story of every Mario game in 2 sentences. The art of Mario is engaging with the mechanics and the level design,
Right.
And kind of the beauty of how something that you learn early on and think is simple becomes extremely complex by the end, and that's what makes the art of Mario. It is different from some other types of games where a lot of the art is in the cutscenes. So you can't engage with that if you're not good at it. And what a weird place for art to exist in, where, yes, I mean, you can't enjoy a story if you can't read, so it does require a certain skill, but anyway.
Yeah. On a tangent to this, just because Donald brought up watching other people play games, as an evangelist for esports, it blows my mind how many people are like, why would you ever watch somebody play a game when you could just play it yourself? Even though that is the way most of us consume sports.
Yes.
Like, we don't bat an eye about, I'm going to watch a basketball game instead of playing basketball. But when it comes to Mario, all of a sudden that's super weird.
Yeah.
And
I
is
don't
that
know.
perception of just how gaming is in general, right? Whereas we look
A lot
at,
of that is cultural, yeah.
Yeah, because how many times have I heard someone say, I'm just going to watch football, and you can't go to that person and say, oh, you should go play it, because that would be ridiculous to some extent. But the amount of people who have said, why are you watching Mario, for the same example?
Why are you watching League of Legends
Why are you watching
when you
League of
could
Legends,
just
not
play
playing
League of
it?
Legends? Well, part of it is because all the toxic players make it horrible, and we need the social bumpers in the gutters.
Way to bring it back around. So, Riot, right? Marvel Rivals, whoever makes that,
Yeah,
Apex
all of
Legends,
these games.
Fortnite. Think about all the dads with money who would pay to not get cursed at by 12-year-olds. And maybe that will motivate you.
There you go. You know who is the dad with 12-year-olds? Ben.
Multiple?
I don't know how many 12-year-olds he has, actually.
Ben has a lot of kids.
He does have a lot of kids, and I'm not sure how old they are. How's that, Ben?